This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. If you like what you see, click on the link below this video and put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get yourself a 20% discount. Real quick before we get into the video, just want to put this out there. If any of you out there can do it, and if it's on your heart, I'd like you to become a part of my $2 a month club. Now that's not a lot. However, I definitely don't want to make people feel like they're obligated to be a part of that. All it entails is simply $2 a month. All you got to do is click on the link below this video, which is my PayPal. And if you decide you want to be a part of my $2 a month club, just send $2 to my PayPal. So remember, you are not obligated, but if you can, that would be greatly appreciated. The time to prepare for bad times is during good times. If you know a big storm is coming, you prepare in advance. And the same goes for our nation's future. Things might seem calm right now, so it is the time to prepare for the next big crisis. And that is why I recommend stocking up with the emergency food from My Patriot Supply. They're America's #1 preparedness company with millions of happy, prepared customers. And check this out, their food lasts up to 25 years in storage. Look at it like this. It's an insurance policy that you can eat. When you need it, it will be there. And right now, you can save $50 on a 4-week emergency food kit. And this kit provides breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories per day. Every family in America should have one of these. So, go to preparewithkevinscorner.com and save $50 on your 4-week food kit. That is preparewithkevinscorner.com. And you might want to do it before the peanut butter hit the fan. So go to preparewithkevinscorner.com. Now let's get into this video.
Democrat strategists are sounding the alarm that Asians are now abandoning the Democrats in droves. It's no secret that the Democrats have been struggling of late with the Latino vote. The latest poll from the Wall Street Journal of Latino voters across the nation found that were the election held today, 44% would vote for Biden, 43% would vote for Trump. Now, that is a totally unprecedented 50-50 split that promises a political earthquake in the next election cycle.
For Joe Biden, the past few months have amounted to the greatest political disaster of his life. And in his case, that's not a small place to be. This is a man with 3 failed presidential campaigns on his resume. Polls show him losing astounding levels of support from virtually every group of Americans who voted for him just a year ago. That would include Hispanics, moderate Democrats, African Americans, and by big double digits, independents. At this point, the White House is down to just 2 core constituencies: anxious upper-income women with multiple college degrees and barren personal lives, and members of the national news media. Biden appears to be losing even the media.
It's time to go now, Phillips. You've done your duty. You can do no more. Abandon your cabin. It's everyone for himself.
Breaking moments ago, brand new numbers on inflation, and they are a wow. CNN's chief business correspondent Christine Romans joins us now. Romans, a wow and maybe a yikes.
A legislator reducing the number of days for early voting from 15 to 10, or wanting voters to present a photo ID before they vote.
Look after yourselves now. I release you both. God bless you.
You're comparing that to Bull Connor, who literally set dogs upon civil rights protesters. George Wallace, who said segregation today, segregation forever. I'm paraphrasing. Or Jefferson Davis, the president of the traitorous Confederacy. I mean, isn't that a little stark?
It is stark, and I will concede that point.
This is an ominous development. In fact, it's not an exaggeration to say that if this trend continues, it is the end of the Biden presidency. The media are the only reason Joe Biden is president in the first place. Biden didn't campaign for the job. He didn't hold rallies or give speeches or tell the public what he might do if elected. No. For nearly a year, Joe Biden stayed home, hiding in terror from infectious voters. Instead, he let news organizations make his case for him, which they assiduously did. The media hid Biden's faults. They attacked and censored his critics. In general, they gave no hint at all that you might be electing a senile mannequin with a lifelong history of sleazy behavior. Voters had no clue. They didn't know who Joe Biden actually was. And yet suddenly, news organizations have decided to tell them. It's pretty amazing to watch it. Here's some clips from just the last few days.
President Joe Biden has had a very tough week with setbacks for his agenda, COVID complications, and the Supreme Court blocking his vaccine mandate.
1 year in, Mr. Biden has the second lowest approval rating ever measured in the White House and has never been less popular nationally.
2022 is not exactly off to a good start for the Biden administration.
The country is frustrated. His party is frustrated. We're 2 weeks into a midterm election year, a few days away from his 1 year anniversary of inauguration, and it is black. It is very dark for him right now.
Now he's in the midst of what one famous children's book writer called a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad time.
CNN criticizing a sitting Democratic president? That's like the College of Cardinals attacking the Pope. MSNBC went even further than that. One of its contributors decided to come out and tell the channel's viewers something they had never heard before. Joe Biden is old. Really, really old. Possibly too old to govern a nation of 335 million people. Watch this.
Your audience is not going to be happy with what I have to say is I don't think he's come across as an inspirational figure. I don't think, by the way, I could give a litany of things he's accomplished, and obviously, and Jonathan Lemire laid out things that have not gone well for him. But there's something else different. How many people do you talk to when they say he seems old? And I don't mean that as an ageist thing. He doesn't, and it really started with Afghanistan, where he just didn't seem to have his hand firmly on the wheel. And I think a lot of this has to do with the messenger versus the messages itself. He doesn't feel in charge.
Really? You sure we're talking about the same president here? Wasn't this the guy who not so long ago was challenging strangers to push-up contests at town halls? This is the guy who single-handedly rescued Nelson Mandela from the hell of Robben Island. This is the man who faced down Corn Pop with a chain at a public swimming pool. Now you're saying that man, that chiseled monument to decisive masculinity, may be losing his grip? Yep, that's exactly what they're saying. And they seem almost bashfully apologetic as they say it. They had no idea Joe Biden was a lumbering, desiccated husk. No idea at all. They never saw Biden call anyone a dog-paced pony soldier. They didn't notice him sniffing anybody's hair or staring blankly into the middle distance like a lobotomy patient. They never saw it. They're as shocked as you are. Watch CNN's resident Nobel Prize winner come to the awful conclusion that maybe Joe Biden isn't doing an amazing job as president.
President Biden left Washington tonight to spend the weekend at home in Delaware. He probably couldn't wait to get out of town after one of the worst weeks of his year-old presidency. A series of setbacks on voting rights, the Supreme Court blocking his vaccine mandate for large businesses, and soaring inflation driving up prices for consumers. And today, we saw the news that the retail sales last month were awful. Plus, Omicron is still causing havoc with staffing shortages and empty shelves. And some Senate Democrats are upset with the White House over testing shortages. I mean, I could go on. But, I mean, is there it's a bad week for the president. Is there any way to cut it? Another way to say it?
CNN is running away from Joe Biden. Even Don Lemon can see where this is going. He may be stupid, but his animal instincts are fully intact. Don Lemon can recognize a sinking ship when he sees one, and he's decided to disembark as swiftly as he can. Make for the lifeboats! CNN anchors first!
Abandon ship! Every man for himself!
Maybe if people like Don Lemon repeatedly make disappointed noises about Joe Biden, no one will remember how they sounded a year ago and hold them responsible. But we will. We remember. We saved the tape. Here's Don Lemon weeping with joy over Joe Biden's election, like Jesus had just returned to make gym memberships free and forgive everybody's student loans. Watch.
How you feeling?
I almost can't talk right now because of the emotion. Everyone is welcome under this tent. We don't care who you are. We don't care if you voted for us or not. You're all part of this American experiment. I was so overwhelmed to hear that. I don't care what people think, if they think I'm biased or not, I don't care. And so I'm very emotional. So when you ask me how I'm feeling right now, I'm sorry. That's all I can tell you. This is how I feel right now. I am so happy to have this platform to be able to do this. I may not have it after this, but I really don't care. I am so happy.
We don't care if you voted for us, not Joe Biden, for us, meaning Joe Biden's friends and co-conspirators over at CNN. I really don't care. I'm so happy. That's the tape. There you have it. If this were a trial, that would be the pivotal evidence. The glove fits, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You cannot acquit. The media foisted this Biden calamity on the United States. They got him elected. Then they lied and distracted the population as he and the marionette operators who controlled him wrecked a lot of this country. That happened, and it's too late now to deny responsibility. These people are fully implicated in what they did. Lots of them are. It's not just Don Lemon. Watch this member of Congress from Silicon Valley, one of the smarter members, we've got to say, decide that actually maybe big tech shouldn't have censored legitimate stories, truthful stories about Hunter Biden's laptop after all. Maybe that was a mistake. Watch.
I am not for having either the government or tech companies ultimately be the arbiter of truth. I'm for making sure censorship that we don't have speech that incites violence, but I'm very wary of censorship. In fact, in the book I write about how I thought it was a mistake for Twitter to take down some of this stuff about Hunter Biden or Facebook to do that. And I think that story was total hogwash. I think Joe Biden was unfairly attacked because of his son, but that doesn't mean that it didn't belong in the public sphere.
Oh, you're not for censorship. But where were you when it mattered? Say last October, right before the election, when people were trying to figure out who to vote for. Oh, you were staying dead silent like the rest of them. You were letting it happen. You were allowing democracy to corrode and die because at the time you thought it was worth it. Donald Trump was just too scary. Trump was an emergency, so we had to suspend the Constitution to make this into an unfree country. We had no choice. But now that he's in office, some of these people are apparently having second thoughts now. But why now? What exactly is going on here? And why is everyone suddenly saying the same thing at once? We could answer the second part of that question with absolute certainty. Everyone in the Democratic Party sounds exactly alike because message discipline is what they do. It's who they are. No one in the party thinks independently. That's not allowed. Everybody in the group must say the very same thing in concert with everybody else in the group all the time, period. It's like a North Korean singing troupe. Deviationists are punished. Think for yourself even for a second, and you are denounced as a conspiracy theorist who thinks horse dewormer is medicine. Because everybody on every channel sounds exactly the same all the time. Here's one recent chorus of dummies.
Lies that would bring thousands of angry people to the Capitol for one of America's darkest days became one of the darkest days in American political history.
The very next day was one of the darkest days in this nation's history.
To one of the most dramatic and dark days in American history.
One of the darkest days in U.S. history.
This was one of the darkest days in American history, and we expect the president to say just that.
Now, all of these very same people are simultaneously trashing the president they got elected and have defended through everything for a year. Why? Now, we're not alleging an intentional conspiracy here. We don't take horse dewormer. We're not saying there was a secret conference call between Jeff Zucker, Joy Reid, and the staff of the Atlantic magazine. Who'd even want to endure something like that? More likely, it's a conspiracy of instinct. For all the talk you hear of diversity, there is precisely zero diversity in our national media. People may have different skin tones or different sexual interests. Not relevant. They're all from such similar backgrounds, with such similar beliefs and values and life experiences that their gut reactions to everything have aligned into perfect synchronicity, like menstruating teenagers at summer camp. They speak as one because on the deepest level, they're indistinguishable from each other. But still, you wonder, there's got to be some kind of political point to this. There's got to be. No one at CNN is ever going to undermine the long-term prospects of the Democratic Party, at least not intentionally. If they snatch the walker from Joe Biden's hands, and that's exactly what they're doing, who do they think is going to take over when he falls?
Okay, let me ask you about 2024. Do you believe that President Biden is up for the job?
President Biden's running for re-election. I expect to support him.
His approval ratings are some of the lowest that they've been for a very long time.
I understand that, but remember, we've just finished the first quarter. We're just starting into the second quarter here. So we've got a lot of time, a lot of work in front of us.
Oh, but you only have probably less than a year before you lose both the Senate and the House. All the polls, the polls are very bad, right? I mean, the Gallup had a poll recently that showed a preference nationally for Republicans at a 5-point margin over Democrats. You started the year with the insurrection and a 9-point advantage.
No, I know.
In the fourth quarter, it was a 5-point advantage to the Republicans. So something's not right here. If you look at the polling, the individual ideas from the Democratic Party, your party, are very popular.
Yeah.
But then you look at Democrats, and often they are not popular. So what's going on here?
Look, part of it is we have a lot of ideas. And we're out there fighting for different pieces of this. Why is Build Back Better so big? It's because basically the train leaves the station only one time a year, using reconciliation where you can get a vote of 50. You can't put things like voting rights on it, but you can put all the economic package together.
But right now, the train's not leaving the station at all.